I'm going to be using in-game examples from you guys to show you the mistakes that you're making and how to fix them. Okay, so in this first game we're going to be looking at a player named Spades. He was actually a very good player, but he makes a massive mistake which cost him the game. As you can see, he's scanning through his cone and then opens an edit to throw the orb. And notice how he's blocked from the top and the side, so no player has a direct line of sight of him. And after he throws the orb, he resets to make sure no one can shoot him. But here's where he makes a mistake. Instead of building in front of him, he builds to the side and doesn't block this angle, which means he can get beamed from this player. And he gets hit for 170. And now we can see the player in front of him. There is a player in this box behind him, and there is a player to the side who are all scouting. And now all these players know that he's weak and are able to focus him. So because he didn't block that one angle, he got focused by the two players and cost him the game. So what should he have done instead? So instead of running forward to get deeper into zone, he should have boxed up here in hard mats and then thrown his orb behind cover, so they didn't get shot from the player in front. If he would have done this, he would have got a lot deeper into the game and could have allowed him to qualify for the Solo Cash Cup. Moving on to our second game, we're looking at Xmas Faulty, who makes a simple mistake in this endgame, which I see a lot of players making. When using the orb, he makes a wide edit where at least 3 players can see him. Luckily he doesn't get beamed, but if there was a player watching him, it could have ended his game. Later in the game he makes the same mistake. As you can see, he's scouting through his cone, but when using the orb, he makes a mistake of walking out into the open, which means the player to the right of him can easily shoot him. Only with 13 other players left, he still had 133 builds, which could have got him into top 5 or possibly even top 3. But because of this mistake, he ends up dying early. Instead of editing the wall, he should have edited his floor and cone, and possibly placed a wall to block their view while using the orb. Moving on to our third game, we're looking at a player named Twitter Crayons. He was over 20k PR, but I think he messes up in this endgame. As you can see, he has a decent amount of mats and heals. He beams a player in Storm and then rotates around the front of the zone. As he is doing this, he's watching the player in front of him in case he makes an edit. After rotating, he ends up boxing up next to a player that he beamed earlier. However, he ends up getting focused for the player behind him. Since he continued spraying, Crayon should have just reboxed somewhere else to conserve mats. Because he kept trying to get the kill and not reboxing, he went down from 70 to 47 builds. As he begins to run out of mats, he finds a player at the back of zone, building in wood. He begins to pressure the player and blocks his side. Since the player gets away, he mantles and ramps up to height, but he makes the mistake of not blocking the side. As you can see, a player follows him up the ramp and ends up hitting him for 100. If he placed a wall while going up the ramp, the player wouldn't have been able to follow him. Because of this mistake, he ends up on the back of zone with almost no mats and health, and ends up getting killed by another player on the back of zone. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe and use my code in the item shop.